If Sir Patrick Vallance is right and this strain is everywhere, why aren't we in full lockdown already?
Well, this is a certainly very important question because we know that this virus is spreading quite quickly and it has risen the R rate 0.4 than the regular strain, and it is being highly infectious. So this means that if this virus would be allowed to propagate within the human population in the areas where the current restrictions are not that tightened, that means the virus would go higher, particularly during Christmas time, which we cannot really avoid the number of cases going up. So this means certainly all those areas need to be put under the tighter restriction so that we do not allow this virus not only just to spread within the community, but also to accommodate more mutation, because that would be really worrisome.
You say highly infectious, but is it more deadly, though?
Well, based on our current information, if we look onto the genetics of this virus, we have around 23 mutations within this virus. And out of those 23, 7 of them, they are in the spike protein, the one that make the surface of the virus. And out of those 7, there are only 3 mutations. Those are critical for infectivity. So these bind with our cell receptor and enter into our body. So this means that it is more to do with the infectiousness, but not with the disease itself, the severity of the disease. But the part of the problem is that if the virus is propagating within the population, it will take more people under infection, and we know that the higher the number of infections mean higher hospitalization and higher mortality, so it would ultimately have impact onto the death toll in total.
What was the point of Tier 4 if this mutant virus was already circulating quite widespread throughout the country?
Well, Tier 4 certainly would help to minimize the social contact, and then the virus would have a less chance to cause transmission. But at the same time, we know that there is a limited movement, but it's not a zero movement. So if the virus is highly infectious, it's going to still predominantly infect the population. And if that is the case, I think we are heading into really serious situation in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the January.
And it's really the older people more vulnerable who, of course, who really are at danger from this more infectious virus?
Well, this new strain, we don't really know how would it behave in the elderly people. It might have more impact on, because the virus, if it gets higher into the human body, it means that more virus will be there. It could have overwhelmed the immune system. That would be even more tricky for the elderly people. But that is something we don't have the information at the moment. But I think that is now important more than ever to quickly immunize our vulnerable communities through vaccination as early as possible, so that at least we can protect them from getting this new variant, because during Christmas time, I'm pretty certain, like everybody else in the scientific community, is that this virus would disseminate further into the population.
And the new vaccines, they will have enough in their armoury to combat any variants of this virus in the future?
Yes, absolutely. That's a very important question, and also concerning as well at the same time. What I'm seeing now is that the vaccine that are being deployed within the human population, those are certainly not only targeting one part of the virus, but multiple parts, and also not just induce the immunity in terms of antibody, but also induce the T cell responses in our white blood cells. So it's like an array of the immune responses are raised. So even if there is a little impact onto the antibody responses, the rest of the component would be active enough to really neutralize the virus in the vaccinated people. But the problem is that if this virus is allowed to propagate within the human population, it can accommodate more mutations, and altogether would have ultimately impact onto the vaccine. But on the positive note, vaccine have been built quite quickly, and according to CEO of BioNTech, the new vaccine can be constructed within 6 weeks. So even if we would have some glitches onto the vaccine, it can be reconstructed, repurposed quite quickly.
Just finally, as I understand it, there's been many mutations already. In fact, this particular strain apparently was discovered in Brazil quite a while ago. So why are we taking this one particularly seriously? Just finally, Mohammed.
Yes, I mean, we do know that the mutation the one mutation that is particularly of importance has been in Brazil and South Africa. But as a virologist, as a concern are that this virus has accommodated 17 mutations relatively in a very short time period, probably because when the lockdown ended, people come back into the normal life, virus got the chance to replicate, and it hit somebody who has a very weak immune system. This is really concerning, that viruses don't really accommodate that many mutations in a very short time. I mean, this SARS-2 has 1 to 2 mutations per month, so totally it can accommodate 25. Having 17 within a short time is really something we have to think and taken very seriously.
Really good to talk to you on this. Thank you very much indeed, Mohammed. Thank you for being with us live on RTUK.